Right, there we go, all ready. Okay, today we're going to do an oil change. Now, do I need to show you how to do an oil change? No, of course not, but it is part of the series on this bike. We've done the discs, brake pads, change sprockets, and we're going to do the fluids as well. And then finally, we're going to do an upgrade on the shocks. That's the little birthday present raft of bits and pieces we're going to do to this bike for this new season. If you don't ride your bike every single day, if you're like Canada, you have to lay your bike up from November to March, or like Penny chooses to do that, then it's a great time just before you begin the season to get everything done and gone through so you can just ride it, and all you have to do each time you take it out is check the tyre pressures and give it a once over, make sure the lights are working, and that's really a cool way to do it. So today we're going to do, I think it's the 5th one, isn't it, Penny?
Yep.
5th out of what will be 6 videos to do oil and filter, and the air filter as well. We're going to upgrade the oil filter, or we're going to change it to a different one. I'll talk to you more about that near the time. But the reason for doing this really is that the oil is sat in there now for 12 weeks or so, more than that, and it really does need to be changed because it's done 4,500 miles. Again, bike's done 5.5, it was put in after the first service, which is 1,000, so it's 4,500 mile oil, and it definitely is time to change it. So we're going to do that first. Also, what you saw me do just now is jack the bike up and put it on some blocks. The reason I put these little blocks under the tyres and strapped it down for maximum safety, obviously, you know all that, we said that last time, is to get the drain tray under there. I use these cat litter trays. They're brilliant for oil changing on bikes because they hold all of the oil and the filter as well. Chuck it all in there and it's nice and safe with a nice lip around. It doesn't fill it right up to the top like some of the silly little drain trays you can buy from the car accessory stores. That's a great way to do it, and they cost £1, don't they?
Yep.
Less than that. So we can chuck that under there and there's loads of room. This is a lowered bike, so therefore there's not a lot of room underneath there. Also, I can't get you under there so you can see what we're doing. So we're going to drop the drain plug first of all and drain the oil out. But before we do that, I want to talk about the oil itself, something that is a skeptical difference of opinion that I've heard people argue about for decades. I'll show you what I mean. Welcome back. This Triumph engine hasn't run for about 3 months. So all of the oil, probably 99.5% of the oil, is in the sump, or down here in the sump. Whereas if I fired it up now to warm it up in the traditional way of loosening up the oil and making it all runny, then loads of that oil is going to be all around the top of the engine, and it's going to stick there and stay there. Certainly for today and tomorrow and next week. It will take months again before all that drains back down. Now, that has been the theory for a long time. If you've got a laid up engine and all that oil's down in the sump, just drain it straight out. Don't go pushing all that thick sump oil up around the engine because it's going to stay there. And when you put the new oil in, it will mix with it. So you won't get such a complete oil change. Others argue against that by saying that when you drain this oil, it's in the sump all thick and stodgy, so it won't all come out. Well, there you are. There's the argument. Now personally, I'm not going to start the engine. Today I'm going to drop the sump plug, I'm going to pour that oil into the tray, and that's it. And I'm going to let it drain for as long as we can, if necessary an hour or so. And we're going to see if it stops dripping out. And also what consistency it is when it comes out. Will it be thick and stodgy, or will it be watery and runny like it is when it's hot? Because as oil gets hotter, it gets thinner and more runny. So there we are. It's a 1040 multi-grade motor oil. It should come out okay, and then we'll take the filter out at the same time. I just thought I'd pass that one on to you. It's a theory either way. It's one of those arguments that has merit on both sides. And I know this is going to be a comments box debate now, so I'll leave that one with you as we drain the oil. Drill while that's draining. Filter's really cool on these Triumphs, it's up underneath. Down, because we didn't warm it up, it's going to take a bit longer than normal. Stick an air filter in it while we're doing it. Again, effective use of time. this for a minute. This is known as the snorkel for obvious reasons. I've left the snorkel on this. I've never seen fit to take it off. There are many theories, there are many options, there are many upgrades and modifications for this airbox. You can do everything from replacing this thing here with a plastic ring. Literally, it's a oval plastic ring like that on its own. It just has a hole. So when it's bolted on, it just looks like that, just a hole. And they cost a plastic ring, I think they're about £70. And you just bolt it on, and they believe, apparently the manufacturers, that improves performance. It doesn't, but they sell it to you that it does. Put a bike on a dyno, it make no difference whatsoever. There's such a lot of tosh talked about airboxes. The airbox on this bike, honestly, my background, if I go back into my kind of hooligan youth, is more about engine tuning, big 4-cylinder Suzukis, that sort of thing, GSX 1100s, that sort of thing. You know, an engine like this is a dollop. It makes 53 horsepower. If you do probably £500 of the work to the airbox and associated paraphernalia, you might get 10 horsepower out of it. So honestly, is it worth it? No, not really. You can do it if you want to though. There's many things you can do. You can take the baffle out. There's a little plastic triangular thing inside here known as the airbox baffle. It's designed to cut down on the induction roar, that induction suction noise that you get. It's designed to cut that down. People take that out because they believe it adds performance. It doesn't, it just makes it roar a little bit. It does its job when it's in there. It cuts down on the induction noise. Take it out, it brings back a little induction noise. And I guess some people enjoy that, they think it works for them. But personally, I've never done anything to the airbox on this bike. Penny's very happy with the performance. We have the Tech Bike Parts Scrambler exhaust, or the Bonneville exhaust, the 2-in-1. And at the same time, we've used the Arrow map for the mapping the ECU, and that's it. Never done anything else. It's okay, isn't it?
It's perfect.
Perfect, does the job. You can do what you want to your bike, right down to removing the airbox completely and throwing it away, and putting pod filters on and then remapping accordingly. But honestly, and all the people I spoke to tuning these bikes, if you want performance from them, you need to increase the engine CC, and you need to deal with cams and that sort of thing, lighting and balancing, and traditional tuning, you know, and that sort of thing. Again, on a bike like this, it's really worth it. It's up to you. You'll get £1,000 down the line trying to make your engine quicker, and somebody on a 250 will outside you on a bend. It's as simple as that. It isn't going to make it a fast bike. Why are you trying to make what is effectively a street cruiser into a fast bike? If you want a fast bike, go and buy a street triple, because it's fast straight out of the box, simple as that. So there we are. That is why I've never even cut the snorkel off. I don't believe in it. Leave it on there. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't do any difference. Right, I'm going to take that out. There's a little precaution first. Just put a little bit of masking tape on your frame, because where they make this, the way the design is the air filter rubs on the frame as it comes out. And whether you have this, which is a K&N, or whether you have the factory one, they're both sharp on the outside. The factory one's got like a cheese grater affair on the outside. And there we are. That is as simple as that, to take the air filter out. Okay, so when I got all the service stuff from Wimoto, I phoned them up and said I need oil and filter and so on, because I'm doing a service as well as the brakes and the chain sprockets. They said, okay, what about an air filter as well? And I said, no, don't need one, I've got a K&N. You can just wash it. He said, okay, have you tried a Simota, which is one of these? And I said, no, I haven't, because I've got a K&N. I'm just going to wash it. K&N's legendary, aren't they? They're worldwide. And he said, yeah, okay, we'll try it, see what you think. And if you don't like it, send it back. Cool challenge. Hey, Pen?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, we're keeping it. It is very cool. There's a reason why. I'll tell you specific. Obviously the filter's the same size because it's for the same bike. So it doesn't matter what manufacturer of filter you go to, if it's a filter for that hole, it's going to be that hole shaped. So it is the same shape. Different colour, that's not necessarily good, bad or different, but it's about something else that I noticed absolutely straight away the minute I got it out of the box, because I know what K&Ns are like. As I said, I've had these since I was about 17 on my Ford Cortina. The K&N filters are K&N filter, they're brilliant, but I start to look at that and look a bit against the Simota filter, and it is leagues ahead, truly leagues ahead. Come on in close, man, I'll show you what I mean. When we take a close look at the K&N, there are certain things about it straight away that strike you. This pleat, this is a pleated filter, you can see that. Basically the pleats increase the amount of filtration area, and they pack those pleats into the circumference of the filter. Same as the panel filters, exactly the same. But when you look on this, you've got round this curve, you've got uneven pleats, where you've got a great big wide open pleat there, and then a close one there. Now this is moulded, they're bonded and moulded into place. So that's simply a manufacturing difference or fault, call it what you like, but that's not correct. And look at it around the back where it's bonded. Now look at that back edge compared to that one. Now obviously if you understand the principle of a pleated filter, you see straight away the more pleats there are, then the more filtration surface there is. So the more filtering it's going to do. So one of these, not just that side, but all the way around, is more densely pleated. It's more densely packed together. The pleats are closer. Not so close they're touching where things are going to get wedged and then right off that pleat, but just enough so you've got a maximum amount in there. Also, every single pleat is absolutely even all the way around. None of this business. So I have to say, contrary to my lifelong belief that K&N filters are the best on the market, no they ain't. They're really not. This Simoto filter is by far and away a better finished, a better manufactured product. And the fact that they've packed in more pleats of the filter material means that if you open them both out and stretch them flat, this would be a lot smaller than this. This would stretch a lot wider because there's more of it, and that's more filtration element to do the filtering. So that is a better filter. It's going to stay clean longer and allow air to pass through for a longer period as it gradually gets bunged up. And then all you need to do is wash it. Like K&N, like every other one, the green filters, all of them, it comes with a available washing kit, the proper one, and you get the usual thing. The filter cleaner, which is a solvent, and then you get the oil that goes on it afterwards. So you buy that at the same time, keep that on your shelf, and when it comes time to clean your filter, you follow the instructions, which are all in there. Right, let's pop that in. Same old principle. Really close fit. Right, nice snug fit. And there we are. That's why you put tape on your frame, because it's scuffed the tape a bit there, which means you won't scab your frame up putting it in. Simple, isn't it? And that pops into place. Very nice. There we go. Put the lid back on. There we are, and it's finished draining now. Now I don't think either of those two methods, draining it cold or draining it hot, is better than the other. I truly don't. As long as you give it long enough till it stops coming out, that's the best you can do really. I'm going to talk about flushing agents. Many people ask us all the time, would you not flush the engine with a flushing agent of some kind? I've always shied away from that. I don't use flushing agents because they are a solvent. Their designated job is to liquefy the oil, to water it down and turn it into like paraffin, and it just runs out. So that's great for getting the old oil out, but inevitably some of that solvent will remain inside the engine, and that will contaminate the new oil. And it's for that reason alone that I'm not going to go spending X amount of money on some nice fresh brand new top quality oil and then put it in to an engine that's got loads of solvent rubbed over everything. So do you think some of the old oil, tiny little bit left over, is better than having loads of solvent around it? I do, personally. There is another way you can do it though. If you're really paranoid and you think the oil that came out is like, you know, Bonneville, and you really want to do well, you can buy a gallon of cheap oil, really cheap old oil, just, you know, £5 a gallon stuff. Leave the old filter on, drain out the black stuff, put that new oil in, and then run round for 50 miles or even just 10 miles with that cheap oil in. Nice and gently, don't rev the engine too much, just get it all circulated and allow that oil to do the washing rather than a solvent to do the washing. Because I always think clean oil does clean things just as good as a solvent does. A clean oil is a good solvent in its own right. Just try it. When your hands are thick black grease, get some fresh oil, wipe it over and all that grease comes off. It literally dissolves it in its own right. So it acts like its own solvent, but it doesn't attack the new oil. So when you get back, drain that stuff out, then change the filter, then put your fresh, top quality oil in. So I think if you're going to do anything, if you want to flush your engine at all, use a cheap oil to do it and a little test ride rather than liquid solvents, which I don't believe in. But again, as always, you do what works for you. Okay.
Yep.
Let's put the sun plugs in. I then put the new filter on. As you can see, fortunately, it's got an underslung filter, which is really handy because it means you can fill them up with oil before you start. And normally, like on Harley Davidsons, you can't do that. On a Harley, you're stuck with the matter that the filter goes on sideways, and the same goes for most Japanese sports bikes where the filter goes on the front of the motor between the pipes. So that means if you go filling that up with oil and then you put it on the bike, it's all just going to run out. So you really can't fill it up. And I do like to have the filter filled with oil if possible before you put it into the bike. I quite like that. So these, I've got a chrome one, not because particularly Penny wants a chrome one, but because the chrome one was available and it matches some of the bright work on the bike. So there you go, you can get black or chrome. I'm using a high flow, no particular brand. Other brands are available, use which one works for you. The one that took off had Triumph written on it. Now I've always had a belief here, Triumph don't make oil filters, they have them made for themselves. And who makes them? You got it, high flow. So there we are. What I would do first, as with all these things, with oil. Always start. Takes a few seconds because you just watch. You fill it up like that, you'll see that that will drop as it bubbles into all the element and fills it up from inside. There we go. And when you fill it up, it only really wants to be up to the base of the thread. Don't fill it right up to here because that basically will just flow out down the sides of the filter when you screw it on. Now we filled that up, I don't know if you can see in there, Pen. I just filled that right to the brim and it's about half full. So they hold quite a lot. So just top it up. In the process, make sure you get some around this rubber so that when you screw it on, the rubber slides, baby. It's quite important. Taking oil, babe. It's like the TARDIS oil filter. There we go. Right, so there we are. When you top up your oil filter, that is about the level you want. About the bottom of the thread. Thereabouts. That's a little tiny bit high, but it won't do any harm at all. And then a little bit of it round the filter itself, round the rubber. The reason for that is that all torque settings that we ever give you, all of the torque settings we give you, are rated on a lubricated thread. And there is a torque setting for your oil filter. I think it's about 10, what is it? 10 Newton meters. It's about 8 pounds-feet. It's next to nothing. When you come to take some filters off, oh my goodness me, you have to swing on them with a bar to get them to break and get off because the person before has been paranoid they're going to leak. They've got a super fine thread there and they won't leak. I'll show you how to put it on. Right. Now the rating for any filter, whether it's a Harley or a Triumph or just about anything you like, is pop it on. There we go. Right. Now, spin it on, come back off a bit. Now, what you're feeling for, this is the correct way to put a filter on. Get to the point, just with your loose fingers, where the rubber touches the seal. So where you feel it touch, there. Like that. And then all we're going to do is take a pen, mark a point on the filter, and then you need to go half a turn further in from that point. So coming round, half a turn. Stay wet, babe.
That's it.
And there, okay? And there we are, fitted, chopped up. That's it. Doesn't need to be any tighter than that. Half a turn from the point where it first touches, that's enough. And that's recommended by Harley Davidson, Triumph, and just about everybody else. If you do find you get a little weep Just give it another 1/8 of a turn and that'll be fine. But for goodness sake, don't go swinging on it. It doesn't need it. It's just a nightmare to get off in the future. And it won't leak, believe me. All right, sump plug. Aluminium washer, which is important because that gives a soft joint between the bolt and the sump itself. So aluminium washer on first. Now I've always used this product ever since I was trained as a bus mechanic in the 1980s. It's a fantastic oil sealant. It's blue Hylamar. I want to show you it because everyone asks. Can you get closer on that pen? Marston's blue Hylamar. All right. Now I'm not not promoting this product. Other products are available. You use what works for you. But I like this product because it doesn't dry. Just a little bit like that. There we go. Like that. Simple. And all that will do is it will stop any oil working its way along the thread and weeping out, because you're going to do it up to an exact torque setting and no tighter. Honestly, let's just pop it back in. Rather conveniently, took all of it. So there we are. Like I said, dispose of your oil in a proper manner like that. That will go now to the local recycling centre and they use it to reprocess and heat schools, which I think is pretty cool, like that, all kiddies. Two things we really wanted to experiment on this. You don't need a video on oil changing. You don't, because you know how to do it. We've shown you dozens of times and there are loads of videos on YouTube of people showing you how to change the oil in your bike. All I wanted to do was just cover that one issue, that if your bike has been laid up, we have many viewers in Canada who lay their bikes up and North America for months and because they simply got 3 foot of snow outside their house and they can't get out the door. So if that is you, or if you just choose not to ride your bike all through the winter salty months like Madam here, then it's a great idea to take advantage of that. The oil drains down to the sump and you will get more out. We got a full 4 litres. You saw how much went in. I emptied that can. 4 full litres have gone into this engine. The oil change recommended amount is 3.8 litres, which is pretty much, and it's okay. It's about a cupful of oil. We've got extra because it took the time, 3 months, to drain down into the sump. I quite like that, you know, that's half a pint of oil that would have stayed in the engine and gone round minced up with the new stuff. So now we've got a virtually complete oil change, short of stripping that and drying it all out, putting it back together again. we have got virtually a complete oil change, and that is desirable. That's what you always want. One more video in it, Pen, in this little series.
Sure is.
Just the shocks to go. That'll be the last video of our series, and then we'll be back to the project in earnest. Looking forward to that, aren't you?
Yep.
Get back to some welding and grinding and making things and cool stuff. There we go. Okay, all of the parts of this whole project on Remote. So thanks ever so much to them. They gave us a great price on all the parts, and they did give us this build, which is very kind of them indeed. And we'll let you know how it goes. If there's any issue with that at all, we'll let you know as well as them. So believe me, we don't believe in sucking up to anyone. We'll tell you the truth every single time. We think that way we get that credibility and you appreciate it. Anything else, man?
That's it. See you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Take it easy, ride safe, enjoy your week.